torches and a thumbs up. Wait until time most people to work so.
Wakey, wakey. To Black Creek, right off the St. Johns River, where we have been enjoying peace and tranquility, mostly, except for the occasional Zoom. But this is an amazing anchorage, and we could not resist sharing it with you this evening and try to mix in a little cooking and a little geeky lithium.
Okay, so
Oh,
before we go inside, and I'm Chris,
And we're going to give you a little bit more taste of this view here before we take you in, because nothing inside is as gorgeous as this. And you should have seen this at sunrise this morning. I had the drone up. It was superb. There we go. Some of the colors kicking in. This is a little island about 1.5 miles up this creek, and this creek is actually navigable about 15 miles apparently. And so people play and water ski here, but after hours it is so tranquil. Not much along here other than cypress forest and swamp. And we have it to ourselves. Yes, this is our house right now. Life is rough. And for those who might have seen our last little live stream, you might notice something on the back of our dinghy here. There's an
I had a different one. So if you joined us the other evening sharing about the Suzuki fiasco, we now have we went with the gently 9.9 horsepower one with manual start, and seems to be was about an even trade-in for us. So
cool. Okay, let's into the kitchen or into the living room. I'm gonna set this down. I'll switch to this camera for a moment. There we are. So it would be nice to have a production assistant sometime to turn up the audio. There, okay. I think this should be broadcasting now. Don't know why that went down to nothing. Okay, so to reiterate, I'm Chris.
Cherie.
So Cherie, and we are doing this live show just kind of spontaneously. We had the idea of it would be fun. We had a lot of requests actually to do another cooking show. We've done these before, and we thought it'd be fun to do one entirely off of our new lithium batteries and to kind of give that as a chance to show them off. And we were sitting at anchor, and it's like,
it's beautiful here.
It's totally beautiful here, and we had fresh ingredients that we just bought that it wouldn't make sense to wait till we were in a less beautiful spot.
Or maybe more beautiful.
Or more beautiful. Well, yeah, we're heading up the St. John River, so there's apparently a lot of beauty ahead of us. So we're going to...
So we decided why not? Because it's more fun than why.
Yes. So we're going to cook with you guys and show off our batteries and show off how much power is being used by each of our cooking appliances. And the nice thing about doing it off of lithium is we don't have to listen to a generator putter around behind us. Yeah.
But we have been listening to the generator all day because it got up to about 92 degrees, so we were running the air conditioner off the generator most of the day. We just shut it off. It
was record heat today. We technically could run the air conditioner off the batteries, but not for very long. Maybe 3 to 5 hours ish. It would suck our batteries down, and it just doesn't make sense because the air conditioner basically drowns out the generator anyway. And it is still, we don't have our solar yet, so we still do have to run the generator some every day to keep the batteries topped up. It's just we're not quite as reliant on them.
Okay, so first, do you want to start with an overview of the new system, of what we just installed, and then we will go into cooking.
Okay, you actually show it off?
You want to show it off, or you want to show it off while I'm doing stuff?
We can do that, yeah. Time it, yeah, so,
But why don't you do a verbal rundown of the components of what you just installed?
Okay, so, what we just installed while we were here in Jacksonville is six 100 amp hour 12 volt BattleBorn lithium batteries, the GC2 golf cart form style. We've set them up as a 24 volt bank, so it's 300 amp hours at 24 volts is what we have. Rewired all the circuitry on the boat, so now we have the generator and the batteries both feeding Victron Quattro. That is the 5000 VA version of the Quattro, roughly 4,000 to 5,000 watts of power capability. And yeah, that's kind of the new setup. And we've got the Victron BMV 712 battery monitor, which lets us monitor things remotely with Bluetooth. And then also the Victron Venus that lets us remotely see the entire system from anywhere on the internet. So, hey, it's fun, geeky stuff. It's in some ways similar to what we had on the bus, but the Quattro is the big brother of the Multiplus we had on the bus, and we are experimenting and seeing what's up with these BattleBorn batteries, because they're available off the shelf. You don't really need to be doing geeky stuff to install them, as opposed to the batteries we built from scratch for our bus. So we're checking those out. And yeah,
they're a very mainstream option that a lot of YouTubers are installing, so we decided to give those a try first.
Yes,
and get some hands-on time with them. So, all right, let's go ahead and get an intro to tonight's meal that we're going to be preparing, and we will intermix it in with geeking out on the lithium, showing you some live power readings as we use various electric appliances that we have on the boat. I designed tonight's meal to use both the induction cooktop and our convection microwave oven. I was going to try to do an Instapot too, but that's way too much cooking, too many dishes. So maybe we'll do an Instapot one later.
Yes, okay. And I'm assuming, yeah, the audio was only down for that second. Hopefully audio is all good right now and everybody can hear. There's 114 people. I hope they wouldn't still be here if the audio was off. I'm going to switch back to the handheld camera and Cherie can show what's up in the kitchen.
You're going to do another shot of the sunset.
Oh, okay. Quick more sunset. Because this just keeps getting, oh wow, better and better. There may be one other boat goes by the rest of the night. This is the RV equivalent of boondocking. This is free camping out in amazing nature.
I think in some respects it's a little better than boondocking. There are no stay limits here. We have heard reports that people have been in this exact spot for months at a time.
Yes,
we're not planning that.
We're here for 2 nights, but yes.
But it is definitely one of my favorite anchorages so far. As far as the views, those lily pads, some more jungle feel, but we'll see how I feel about that after we do the St. John's.
Oh, look at the other side. Look at the lights on the trees over there. And the reflections on the water. This is a little island, I think it's called Jessie Island here. We've been paddleboarding around it. Ended our day yesterday with paddleboarding and started this morning with some paddleboarding before it got hot. And yeah. When there's no other boats here, it's just so tranquil. And this creek is about 30 feet deep too, which is pretty amazing. There's our OBS setup, and hey, here's the chat room full of people.
All right, we will try our best to look to the chat room if you have questions as we go. No guarantees that we're going to catch everything this evening because we're going to be moving around in mobile tonight. So let's start the kitchen.
Oh, and by the way, here's where we can.
Okay, so let's start with the computer.
I'll just show the how we can monitor the power, so we can see. Our kind of baseline right now is 405 watts being used. The batteries are fully charged because we had been running the generator earlier. But that's the Victron Venus output onto our computer.
All right, and then Kiki.
Oh,
Kiki
yes. She's fully charged too. Well, she alive?
You got guest kitten.
Yeah, you have guests over. Okay. Now.
Because she's known for going outside while we're not looking. And then she's on the side of the boat, and then a boat's going to come by and wake her, and then we're going to be having a really exciting video. All right, so what we are going to make this evening, I came up with the name of eggplant medallions. I kind of made it up a few weeks ago. I have already sliced and roasted eggplant. So I just sliced the eggplant sprayed a little bit of oil on it, a little bit of garlic salt. Put them in the oven at about 370 for about 20 minutes. So that part is already done. I wasn't gonna make you guys wait for that. Here comes a boat. Yeah, we're gonna get waked. All right, so I'm gonna put those off to the side.
What was the oven? It was our convection microwave to serve that purpose.
Yes, so this is our GE convection microwave oven. We, if you've been following our boat modifications, we took out the princess oven that comes in most boats, put in an induction hob inset, and then did a convection microwave oven up here. This is just a standard one you can buy online at Sears. It's nothing specifically marine.
We did buy it at Sears, actually.
We did at Sears, but we did not buy it at West Spring because it's not specifically marine. It's working. Yay! Wake's so much fun. It actually is.
As long as it's not too severe, it's just a gentle rock.
Yes, we've had a couple today that are like, okay, hold on to the flowers. This one's not going to be too bad.
Nope.
All right, so the eggplant slices are roasted, and what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be mixing up some ricotta cheese, smearing that on the eggplant, and then I am going to saute up some vegetables on the induction hob. We'll take some readings on using the induction hob at different levels. Saute up the vegetables, and then we will top those on top of the eggplant, put a little cheese on it, and then we'll pop these back into the convection microwave oven and get you some readings on using the convection oven. All off lithium. The generator is off at this point. So first step is I'm going to mix up the ricotta cheese. There's really nothing too exciting about this. This is the way I have done my ricotta cheese since I was a teenager. Put the veggies off to the side.
Got feedback that both microphones are still live, so
let me turn down the other one. Keep the handheld on one. We're getting a little echo. Thank you for that feedback. This is why we really would love to have a production assistant here.
hopefully that will stop that echo. And I hope there wasn't too much feedback. Uh-oh. There shouldn't have been feedback, but 2 audio streams might have been a problem. Okay.
All right.
Hopefully you were able to hear what she said, even though it was a little bit echoey.
All right, so I've got the ricotta cheese. I'm gonna mix in an egg. Put a little bit of garlic powder in there, and of course, anything on a boat gets a little humidified, so you have to break it up. And there's some Italian seasoning. I am also going to grate some Parmesan cheese into the mixture. Parmesan cheese is awesome. All right, oh, and the last ingredient, my little secret.
Okay, good. Much better on the audio. Yay.
Okay.
Sorry about that, guys.
Most Italian food that I create, because I don't have any claims to being Italian, I don't even know if this is legit, but I like to put a dash of cinnamon in ricotta cheese or when I'm making an Alfredo sauce. So just, okay, that's a lot.
A dash, a splash.
A dash, whatever. I just like the little sweet tang that it adds. Okay, and the ricotta cheese is now ready to go.
Okay.
Now let's chop some veggies so that we can get those sauteing and get you looking at some numbers.
Ooh, electricity.
I'm just doing some broccolini. We're going to do some sweet onion, some zucchini, and a red pepper. We actually picked this up just yesterday at a produce stand that was right by the marina where we got the new engine at.
Yeah, so we rowed ashore and came back with vegetables and a new motor. Well, gently used motor.
Most everything else I'm cooking tonight, I already had provision before we left Ortega Landing in Jacksonville.
This is our 4th night out, right?
This is our 4th night at anchor since we left Ortega. sharpen my knives. Okay. In my pan, I'm just going to put a little bit of olive oil. And I'm going to go ahead and turn this on to get it started. So if you want to show them, I'm going to initially set it at level 5, which is medium.
And we're going from 400 watt draw. Oh, there we go. At 800 watts. Yeah. Kiki, the power control officer, keeping an eye on that. 800 watts. Dedicated to the medium power induction top. And this is actually a 2-burner induction top, but it splits a 15 amp circuit, so it will not overload a 15 amp circuit.
So if you're not familiar with induction, basically it is creating a magnetic feed with the metal in the pan. It's actually exciting the metal in there. That's what's creating the heat. The hob does not actually create the heat. So
the
you
surface
can
doesn't get
the
hot.
The surface doesn't
pan
hot.
does.
The pan is, and it's pretty immediate. So I had just turned it on, and it is already there. So that's one thing that makes it great for off-grid, is you don't have that
long
wait time. It's pretty much immediately ready to go, and you don't get a lot of heat into the room because it's not giving off excess heat
like propane would, or excess moisture like propane. Propane will make a room so humid too.
I'm going to go ahead and turn down. I just put it to level 3, which is where I find I like to do a lot of my cooking temperature at.
See level 3 power. We're not doing any sort of quick scientific measurement or keeping track of how many amps we've drained. But you can see there on the battery is currently putting out 47 amps. 1,200 watts out of the battery. Some of that's going to the DC loads. And if we had solar panels, well, the sun's going down right now, but they would be here. We're used to that on our bus. We love having.
Speaking of the sun going down.
Okay, I'll give you another outside view. Well,
I'm just chopping vegetables. It's nothing exciting.
You're not missing much. Well, you're missing a lot outside. Look at those pink clouds. Oh my gosh. Wow. Well, this is what life on board a boat is. Moments of tranquility and then afternoons spent rowing your dinghy home instead of eating dinner. Yeah. Boat problems and beauty go hand in hand. Black Creek is just gorgeous. I think I did see someone in the chat room asked what motor we got. We got a gently used Yamaha to replace the Suzuki that mysteriously failed. Starting to smell good. It's nothing like sauteed vegetables.
Okay.
Back inside.
Okay, so while you were gone, I chopped up the broccoli, the red onions, and the zucchini. I'm doing smaller pieces tonight because these are all going to be going on top of the eggplant, more like making mini pizzas with the eggplant as the crust.
Ooh. Sounds tasty.
Our onions, let's see. I always like to give the onions a little head start. So how much difference in power was there between level 5 and 3?
Just like 100 watts or so.
And please keep in mind, we are not professional chefs. We are not professing to be foodies. This is pretty much how we cook at home.
Yes. And we're not professional videos, and we don't have here helping with production to keep an eye on the chat room and the video quality and the audio quality. So
we'll keep sticking our heads over there every so often just to make sure things are going okay. But, you know, we're just having fun with this, and we love to share it and love that you guys can come along.
All right, so while that is finishing up, I'm going to skip ahead and smear some ricotta cheese on these eggplants. And normally at this point, I would go ahead and start preheating the oven. But since we want to show you guys an individual readout, I'm going to delay that.
And I did see a question in the chat room asking if we got credit for the Suzuki towards the Yamaha in the shop that is helping us with this. They're going to get a Suzuki warranty repaired and then help us and then do it on consignment for us. So we just didn't have the time to wait around for Suzuki to deal with it.
So yeah, they're going to handle the repairs. The value of the Suzuki is a lot higher than the Yamaha. The Yamaha is a 2014 and it's a 9.9 horsepower. The Suzuki is a 2017 at 15 horsepower. But once we factor in the cost of consignment and the cost of, basically we're going to be paying the shop to handle the warranty repair for us, because they're not a Suzuki dealer. It'll probably be about a wash.
Hopefully.
So, hopefully. So we have paid up front for the Yamaha, and then they're saying that 15 horsepower engines are okay. If anyone is in the Suzuki, 15 horsepower, I can tell you where one's for sale. It's in Palms in Green Cove Springs, Florida.
Mm-hmm.
We comment that this looks like a keto meal. Probably would qualify. We tend to try to cook with whole ingredients, non-processed foods. We do try to eat fairly healthy, but then again, we supplement with this evening's sundowner. This is tangerine juice.
Yeah, so
You made them. What did you put in these things?
So I picked up some cans of sparkling hard water at Publix. I'm actually not very impressed with it, but definitely not so great straight, but it makes a good mixer with some juice. And so in this case, it was tangerine juice, sparkling hard strawberry kiwi water, and a little squirt of cherry flavoring. So kind of a little bit of a, well, kind of almost like a tequila sunrise with sparkling water instead of whatnot. Yeah.
And I think the alcohol content's like 4%.
Yeah, these are very low alcohol. The sparkling water is kind of low flavor too. I'm not going to be buying that again, but working through the cans.
Okay, I'm going to call these done since they will get additional heat time. I would normally saute them just a little bit more, but our onions are nice and caramelized, and our vegetables are still nice and firm.
Look at that.
So I'm actually going to take our medallions over here.
And even though we have a 2-burner induction, we don't hardly ever use both burners simultaneously.
For all of our time on the road, both in the RV, we've pretty much have had single hob induction. So I've gotten really used to cooking in one pot, and I just haven't really adapted back to doing multiple things, and that's just more dishes. I mean,
and usually if we're using a second pot, it's the Instant Pot, where we often actually do something that is more that style, not necessarily 2 things on a burner.
Do you want me to go ahead and I've got the induction off now.
Okay.
You want to go back and show
the
power draw, and then we'll get the convection oven preheating.
Okay, so right now we're drawing 500 watts on the AC side. That's probably, I think I hear the ice maker is cycled on. We've got an electrically hungry boat. We've got a refrigerator, a chest freezer, a beer fridge, and an ice maker. So our continuous AC loads are pretty substantial. That's why we're really itching to get some solar power to balance that out. But yeah, crank up the... Are you going to start that, or
all right,
is this looking really good first?
Okay, that's the next step. I got 2 more steps to go and prep on that.
Okay.
All right, so I'm going to do the convection oven mode.
Okay.
I'm turning that up to about 365, and it is now in preheat mode.
Is the thing still in, nothing's inside there, right? They're all out. We don't, the chips and all, oh yeah.
Yes,
Good.
I've already been baking.
Okay, got it. Okay. Hey, we're pulling out 2,000 watts. So about 1,500 watts is going to the convection oven, which is kind of expected. And that will suck the battery down pretty fast, but you don't run this for hours on end usually. And that's why we have a pretty sizable, hefty battery bank.
Right. Next step is putting on our pasta sauce. I am not so endeavorish to make my own, but I love Trader Joe's arrabbiata. It's a spicy pepper one. It's got a bit of a kick to it. Very flavorful. It's one of our all-time favorites. We always try to stock up on this whenever we're near TJ's. I'm just going to put a dab of that on each of the medallions. And if anyone knows if this dish has an official name besides medallion, let us know. I've never seen something like this before, but that doesn't mean it doesn't exist.
Cherie's lithium medallions.
I don't follow recipes. I just kind of look at the ingredients I have and make something. Plenty of this. I think later this week I've got a spaghetti squash under here. It's going to go delicious with this, or I might do it with a basil pesto. Yeah, we'll have to see. All right, steak I made in my provisioning. I didn't get any mozzarella cheese, but we did go to Costco before we left, and I got a whole bunch of Mexican style cheese, which we use in a lot of our cooking because we do a lot of nachos and tostadas and fish tacos and things like that. So I'm putting Mexican cheese blend on our Italian food because why not?
Why not? We'll go cross-cultural here.
It's fusion.
Yeah, it's fusion. No, it's lithium, not fusion. If we had fusion on our boat, that would be so cool. Small little nuclear reactor. I'd be so. Again, since the heater is basically, the convection is in a pretty constant 1,500 watts of draw as it gets up to its preset preheat temperature spot, and then it will just take a lot less power to maintain that temperature than it is taking right now to get up to temperature. So we'll see it'll start cycling on and off. You'll actually even hear it.
At 253 degrees.
Yep.
Because I'm impatient, I never wait for the preheat cycle to go live or go full. I usually, once it's up to about 250, I go ahead, stick my dish in. And you see one way a convection microwave works, or the oven works, is it is raised, so it's going airflow all around. So it bakes a lot quicker than a normal oven, supposedly. So I'm gonna turn that up only to 13 minutes, and there we go. And that's it for dinner. There's nothing else to it. I did buy some green beans. I might steam these later. We'll see.
We'll go back outside, see some of the lights, and then I can show the batteries off.
Yeah, and then we can answer any questions folks have.
Yeah, let's see. Check in on the scout room. Let's go outside. I'll give Cherie a moment to catch the chat room, and I'll show you. I just keep changing out here. And it's actually kind of pretty when the boats go by. It causes interesting ripple and light effects. The golden glow is gone.
Yes, it is. So glad we could share the sunset with you and hopefully some geekiness. You want to look at the batteries now?
Yeah. And
Kiki, this is the part where you have to get up.
okay, battery tour is over. So we actually installed the batteries inside of our sofa.
So they used to be under that lazarette. That's where the house batteries were?
Yep, now we've got a lot of extra storage back there.
I will hold the camera while you
Okay.
do this.
Oh yeah, you're gonna make me disturb the cat.
Yes.
Okay.
So underneath the sofa, we have storage. Cat.
Oh, sorry. So upset. Oh, she needs a treat for this indignity. Oh.
We got to get her new treats out.
Oh. So the front half is storage. The front half under the sofa is storage. That's fairly easy to get to.
And then the corner. This is where we used to store our spare props. Spare props are now where the batteries are.
So here is the inverter. And I've got some kind of improv airflow direction stuff right now. And then over here, there's the 6 batteries tucked gently behind. And wired in a series parallel combination. Because we are going 24 volt, this little box takes the 24 volt and makes 12 volt to power all the rest of the boat system. So the inverter needs 24 volts. Eventually we'll probably put a 24 volt fridge. Our freezer can run on 24 volt. We'll wire all that up to on 24 volt to be more efficient. But all the regular boat systems and lights and everything else are 12. This big metal thing here is something that BattleBorn requires. It is a current surge limiter. They require this if you're using an inverter larger than 3,000 watts, which ours is. This keeps the inverter from tripping the BMS inadvertently. The BMS, each one of these batteries has its own internal battery monitoring system. And then the fuses, battery cutoff, and then the shunt is over there that will let us measure every amp that's going in and out of the power system, and that's what drives that remote display. So that's it. It's pretty simple.
It took a while because we had to move all the wiring going from over here to run here, and then we discovered that the wiring that was there was way undersized, so we did it right.
Yeah, so we had to pull wires from that end of the boat to this end of the boat, which meant going through really tricky, crazy spots and pulling new heavy gauge wires and lots of stuff behind the scenes. But the overall project, particularly if you're just replacing
An
existing battery bank and your inverter is already appropriate and your wiring is already appropriate, the BattleBorns could be a very easy, simple, quick and drop in. That was actually, we initially planned this project to be, let's just do a quick lithium setup to get us there, and we'll do the full wiring everything next year. We just kind of got ahead of ourselves.
I think overall we'll be happier because we can control the temperature much more in the salon than we can out in the engine room. So hopefully we don't experience what we did with our bus battery system, which was them being in a hot bay. We did see some initial drop in capacity that we weren't expecting.
Yeah, there were some issues with our bus batteries, but that was, technology was primitive in the lithium front 7 years ago, was it?
Yep.
Yeah, so
7.5 years ago we did
and they're still working great. They're just they aged faster than they should have, but they're still running well. Our bus, last we checked, is still being powered just fine, and we're looking forward to getting back aboard her.
We should be there in about a month and a half.
Yeah, a little bit over a month. Wow.
All right, so I guess we can sit down and take some questions while we wait for dinner to get ready.
The other camera here.
Okay.
And let's see. Audio stick. Okay. So yeah, something about OBS when we change cameras, it mutes or causes the audio to double. I don't know why. But hopefully you should hear us now. Sorry about that. We'll rewind. And thank you for letting us know.
Okay. Okay, Wendy's is getting high user on the channel. Apparently Wendy's thinks that having a little bit of alcohol is being intoxicated. And that
Wendy's, okay.
Yes.
Okay.
All right, so I'm going to go back a little bit and take some questions. Robert said, did we hear anything back from the Suzuki guys directly? We did put a call into their customer support, and they said they're going to look into why their dealers don't have the needed cable for diagnostics, and we have not heard back from them yet.
Yes, they're like, all of our dealers are required to have this cable, and none of the dealers in Jacksonville had ever even heard of it. So Suzuki has got some issues. We heard a few stories behind the scenes about Suzuki's support of dealers, and they've got a ways to go. But overall, I mean, they've got a quality product. They just have glitches. They're the up and coming. They've got a lot of catch up to do to get up to the level of support that some company like Yamaha has.
Yep, and that's really what it came down to for us, is why
we need better support.
Because as we're traveling, someone wanted to know, did we go with the manual start on the outboard over the electric start because we couldn't find the battery? And really, it came down to that we did find a battery actually, so that was not going to be an issue. We just didn't want to add the extra space that a battery would take up.
Instead, we ended up with a big fuel tank, though, so we did end up with a lot of extra space.
But the 9.9 horsepower one was already set up with the manual start. It does have room to add the electric start later if we wanted to. It was ready to go. It's already broken in, so we wouldn't go through a break-in period. The 9.9 horsepower is sufficient for our needs, and it was a heck of a lot cheaper. So.
Yep.
Can you please not let the cat climb in the bag?
Out of here. Yes, I know. I'll go cover this back up.
And we did film a video this morning about the whole Suzuki Yamaha experience, and we are still planning to do a tour of our entire dinghy setup. We have got a list of videos we want to create that is a mile long. Maybe one day we'll get all to it. Robert would like to know, Chris, how much solar are we planning to feed at the batteries? So we actually met with a canvas maker before we left out of Ortega Landing, and we're coming up with a design to work into our existing bows. And of course, all new canvas because our canvas is shot. And
I'd like at least 1,000. Would be fairly easy to do. If we go hog wild, we can get over 2,000, and I'm not sure. We might save the hog wilding for a future upgrade. But 1,000 would probably balance a lot of our daily load, other than air conditioning. So that's a good way to go.
All right. So Nancy had asked, do we use a crock pot? This is one of the ones that we answered while the audio was not there. And we do not have a crock pot on board. We use the Instant Pot, which has a crock pot slow cooker mode. But when we're cooking that sort of stuff, I guess sometimes you, with your chilies, you might use do you use slow cooker mode at all?
No, I always use it under pressure.
Yeah.
I can't think of anything I would use crock pot style as opposed to pressure cooker style because it just goes faster, and I think it's better flavor that way.
Yeah, we do some cooking with the Instant Pot. Probably not as much as we do grilling or sautéing or baking. The Instant Pot maybe comes out once a week. Yeah, that, and we'll probably do another Instant Pot session at some point in the future. Let's see. So why did we go BattleBorn and not Victron batteries? So BattleBorn, Victron, and Relion all were willing to work with us.
Yeah, and
to make it affordable for us to get the batteries.
Wasn't wanting to do a build-it-yourself thing again. Otherwise, if I had the time and inclination, I might have gone with salvaged Tesla batteries, but I didn't feel like raiding a junkyard and doing that kind of project.
We did the build-your-own-bank thing with the bus. And
so I had a short list of batteries. Victron and BattleBorn actually worked really well together. The BattleBorn's a Victron dealer, but the Victron batteries that I'd wanted to use, the Victron HE batteries, would not be available in the United States until they wouldn't be able to meet our time frame to get the batteries that I wanted.
and BattleBorn was able to deal with our time frame and was really excited to play with us. So
yep, they were able to get them pretty much there in 3 days.
Yes.
Whereas Victron, the ones that we want to go with them, they're about 2 months shipping out.
2 or 3 months it would because they're basically a European battery that really hasn't been distributed in the US yet, and so we might actually make that a future project and then take the BattleBorn batteries we just got and use those to replace the bus batteries, which are kind of getting to their aged out point at some point in not too distant future.
Especially since we had that premature aging on them.
Yes.
Important question, what is your cat's name?
Kiki, Kikinator Potato Head.
Oh, I gotta go check the oven. You continue taking that.
Okay. And yeah, and I did monitor the power when the oven was cycled. The temperature is only using 700 watts total, so just about 100 or 200 watts just to maintain temperature once the oven reached full. Okay. I have 7 cats. I have
Here's dinner.
Oh, okay.
I'm gonna let those cool off for a few minutes, which means
this is probably your last chance for questions, so get them in.
Yes, because we're gonna switch to dinner mode, and we're not gonna be rude and eat in front of you.
But yeah, if anybody's nearby, we probably have enough for, if you come on up, yeah, come on by. Yeah, let's see, question here from Bob. For us non-geek types, any suggestions to find a business who specializes in RV DC systems for electrical retrofitting? We want to get a solar setup and decide if lithium is best for us.
So there are some installers. Greg if you go to our page, technomadia.com/solar, and also the lithium page, we do have some of the installers listed there. I do not remember their names and contact information off the top of my head.
And AM Solar is kind of one of the great places to go as well. They're on the West Coast, but they do fabulous systems and fabulous consultation. So we've worked with them in the past, and we've never heard anything bad about AM Solar. So definitely recommend them.
Nick Moore says they're thinking about getting a 4588 next year. Heard good and bad reports. What do you think? We have never been aboard a 4588. Yeah. I've only met one person who owns one, and that was at our last marina. He was very happy with his.
Yeah, they're I guess
older than this one.
Yeah, so there's more things to look out for to see how they've aged and what condition they're in. But if you find one that's in great condition, they're apparently really, really wonderful boats. They're
a much more affordable option than going with the newer 4788.
Yep. Salvatore wanted to know if the plate has to be elevated.
So in a convection oven, you do want the airflow going all the way around your dish, and that's part of the design. So yes, you do want to elevate. Yeah,
the key of convection oven is that there's a fan blowing the hot air, so it needs to be able to circulate on all sides of the food. And that's what makes it go fast and cook well.
All right, guys, we are going to get to having our dinner.
Woohoo.
Thank you for joining in for this sunset, this lithium preview, and cooking. We are planning to do a more formal produced lithium overview of the system.
Yeah, this is just a tease today.
So we will work on that. Hopefully on this trip we'll get that all filmed. And we got the dinghy setup coming. We got the Suzuki coming. We are still behind on doing one on the marine electronics we installed almost a year ago.
We got a lot of projects to share still. Definitely do.
Yes, and one video that I want to do before we store the boat for the winter is I want to do another walkthrough tour of the boat and show some of the things that now, having cruised in it for nearly 2 years, what things are, because no boat is perfect, right?
No.
Is what are some of the things that we wish were different on the 4788. So that will be hopefully coming out. That will probably be all video produced over the coming months. But thank you for joining in. Appreciate having you here. And have a great rest of your weekend.
Now we get to eat. Bye.